Hello folks, welcome back. Samuel Golden again. In this week's episode of How to Become a Pilot, we're exploring flight maneuvers and one of the most exhilarating parts of learning to fly, soloing. The first time you solo as pilot in command, or PIC, will become one of your fondest memories, so let's dive in. From the start, you'll learn that everything in flying boils down to just 4 basic maneuvers: climbs, descents, straight and level, and turns. Any complex maneuver is just a combination of these 4. During your training, you'll master these basics, then gradually combine them to perform more advanced maneuvers. Let's briefly touch on some of the advanced maneuvers now. First, you'll develop skill at ground reference maneuvers, namely rectangular patterns, S-turns, and turns around a point. These all help you use the ground as a reference to adjust for wind and maintain control as you prepare for landing practice. By the way, King Schools has an awesome free course specifically for these maneuvers. I'll link it to you on the screen and in the description. And did I mention it's free? So please go check it out. You'll also work on slow flight, steep turns, and stalls. Slow flight is crucial for landing practice as every landing ends in slow flight. It's also one of the most challenging maneuvers as you get a feel for how an airplane behaves at very slow speeds. In steep turns, you'll learn how to bank your airplane as much as 45 degrees and turn precisely. It's exhilarating, like riding a fast-moving merry-go-round, but you are the one in control. Lastly, you'll work on stalls. A stall occurs when the wing no longer produces lift, usually because the angle of the wing is too high relative to the wind. However, you should not be intimidated by this maneuver. Once you understand that an airplane is designed to basically recover on its own, it becomes pretty routine. The key is to not do anything that prevents the airplane from recovering. The most you'll ever need to do is lower the nose, add some power, and let the airspeed increase, and you're back to normal without any drama. As you work on these maneuvers, you'll also start to get your landings polished. At first, you may not be happy with your landings, and that's okay. But with good instruction and practice, you'll start landing smoothly and without stress. Personally, this is one of my favorite parts of flying. Coming back from a great flight and touching down with just the chirp of the tires is a wonderful feeling. You'll understand what I mean soon. By the way, King Schools has a great free course about landings. It's one of my favorites, so I'll link it on the screen and in the description for you to go check out. Okay. So you've been working on maneuvers, you've been working on landings, you're feeling good, and then one day your CFI will administer a pre-solo written test. Pass this test and call your mom. You're ready to solo. The big day of the solo may go something like this. After some warm-up flying, your instructor will step out, and it'll just be you and the airplane. You'll then take off and fly around the airport pattern for a bit. When I soloed many years ago, I was astonished by how well the airplane climbed without my instructor on board. And you may notice the difference, but maybe don't bring it up. After a few laps around the airport, you will land and taxi back to the parking spot, grinning until your face hurts. The feeling of accomplishment cannot be matched, and when you finish your first flight as a solo pilot, the feeling is indescribable. You've done it. You are now pilot in command. Okay. So that's it for today. Next week, we'll talk about expanding your skills and your first cross-country flights. We are getting into some really fun topics, so I look forward to seeing you then.